Yeah, we've already done 4 rounds so far. We've already completed Daytona, Fuji, Spa, and VIR. We're Misano now. We are going next after this to Magny-Cours, followed by Jose Carlos Pace, otherwise known as Interlagos. Round. Hey, you look better, Rob. Neither, but I don't have much there to worry about, but that's besides the point. No. One race. I've had one race there, Rob, now that I remember, and it was in the rain, and I didn't do so well. So it's going to be some exciting entertainment tonight for us. Yeah, Chris is off to a very nice start and doing very well in that Merc. Looks like we got Mercs number 1 and 2, also with J.R. Williams sitting in second place. So nice to see some representation there on that Mercedes, which I'm not a huge fan of, but these guys are getting it done in a car that is not necessarily the most popular in the service. Yeah, it's a little too early for me to be racing. I mean, my eyes wouldn't even be open yet at this time of day, but obviously Chris Recker has certainly figured out what he's doing, and we're going to pick it up on board. We've got Caleb Lehman with the in-car driving and the googly eyes. Look at the concentration. The eyes are following the curves of the road, and Caleb, thanks a lot for putting on the webcam for us to get a view of your driving style. It looks like me. Yeah, Jim's definitely a strong driver, but he's had some unfortunate luck in a couple of the races earlier this season, and looking for a little redemption tonight, I think, Rob. Yeah, Guillermo representing, looks like he's driving the Porsche there and doing quite well. Anytime you're in the top 10 as an amateur, you've got to be pleased with what your efforts are showing. Yeah, right now in the championship standings for the amateurs, we've got Josh Goen of Goen Racing in first place with an 11-point lead over Pete Mejia, followed in third by Dave Jensen, about 34 points back. So the top two guys are pretty close, and then there's a little bit of a gap until we get to Dave Jensen, followed by Roy Brown. Kevin Bergquist is tied with Roy Brown at 101 points. Then we have Alex Hillman, followed by Neil Alexander, Guillermo Perret, followed by Ian Cabana. James Hand rounds out your top 10 right now.
Just checking in chat. Looked like my mic was turned off there, Rich. So all my nice stuff about where I was trash talking your hair and nobody got to hear, or your lack of hair, nobody got to hear. So it's unfortunate for them, but I'm back live again now. But let's take a look at the Pro-Am side of things. And we got Chase Steffi leading the way, 11 points over David Bush III. And then Bush III another 15 points ahead of Andrew Venero. Joshua Chinsky in 4th place, only 4 points back of him. Nicholas Goen currently sitting in 5th at 127 points. So still a lot of tight battles in the Pro-Am side of things too as well. And as we get a little further back in the pack, it gets even tighter on the Pro-Am side. And then we'll quickly pop over here to take a look at the Pro side of things, where we have a few less drivers, but the battles are still just as strong, Rich, with Matt Stadnick leading the way, 2 points ahead of Jack Hedgecoats. Then we go a little ways back to Caleb Lehman and J.R. Williams, only separated by 1 point. And then Kevin Simpson going to round out the top 5. And then, of course, we got the teams championship. Rick, how does that look?
Well, right now, it's surprising to me, but Goen Racing is sitting up top with 376 points. Josh Goen not going to be there tonight, but he's cheering on his teammates. We've got SRT Purple second, followed by SRT Yellow in 3rd. Then we have the Mad Works Lunatics in 4th, followed by Riot Motorsports in 5th. SRTE Black in 6th, followed by Millennium Motorsports just a point behind in 7th. SRTE Red in 8th, SimCity Racing and Crikey Esports round out the top 10.
Yeah, the team championship battles are actually fairly tight. I would have thought that a couple teams might have been breaking away by this point in time, the halfway mark, Rich, but still a lot of teams in contention potentially for the championship.
Yeah, it's a nice mix, and I mean, SRT's split their drivers amongst several teams, but Goen Racing has really taken advantage of that, and they've got one driver in each class, so certainly helps spread out the field, and got a couple of brothers along with Jack Hedgecoats doing a great job right now and maintaining that first place position.
Yeah, it's strong showing last week for the Goen Racing team, with 2 of the 3 drivers on the team finishing in the top 5. That definitely goes a long way to garnering some points. But maybe we should get to my track guide here. I worked together here, Rich, by request off you to learn the track here. So we put together a quick little track guide just kind of show any of the viewers out there who aren't all that familiar with Misano. It's a track that, as Rich mentioned, he's only raced it once and it was in the rain. That isn't all that popular in iRacing. So we'll do a quick little track guide here and we'll come back and catch the end of qualifying. So this week's race brings us to Misano, a Grade 2 FIA track. It's actually located in Emilia-Romagna, not far from another famous Italian track, Imola. Ever heard of that one? Our driver's going to have to contend with some fast, sweeping corners. And like most European high-grade tracks, wide open spaces, but not a whole lot of overtaking opportunities. So we're on board in the Super Formula here. Let's take a quick little peek around the lap and see what our driver's going to be contending with as we head into the final corner. So a little rush down the front straight here. Drivers have to watch not getting off track in that last corner. It's very tight. Into turn 1, they're going to brake at the 50 board. Cut as much of the inside corner here as they can. And then again, cut this corner as much as they can too as well. And again, back here, let the car breed out to the left. Heavy onto the brakes. Tough corner here in a GT car. Not so bad in a Formula car. Come back, let the throttle breathe. You don't want to run out wide here. Off track, off to the side there. First real kind of straight. Heavy into the braking section here at the 50 marker. Again, you cut the inside of this corner as much as you dare. Back onto the throttle again, bring it out wide. There's 2 different lines here. You'll see some people take it way out wide, some people stay more on the inside. All depends, I guess, whether you're battling or you're trying to defend the car behind you. So we got a nice long run here. Again, cut this corner as much as you can. Let it feed out wide, cut the corner again. Heavy onto the brakes, down a couple gears, back in, cut the corner. Heavy onto the brakes again, back to the right. Tricky section coming up here. Not only is it easy to get off track, but there's a nasty slowdown on the inside of that curve there, 1.2 seconds. And then into the final corner. And there we go. It's a quick little lap around Misano here in the Super Formula car. A little taste of what our drivers are going to have to deal with tonight on track. and let's go see how they're doing now. So there we go, a quick little blast around Misano in the Super Formula car. Actually a fun car, but terribly difficult to drive. But when you do get it right, it works well. But J.R. Williams, our pole sitter from last week, Rich, has found his way up top of qualifying right now too as well, with about 30 seconds to go, coming across to finish up a lap. See if JR is able to improve on his already quick time. He does. Takes another 10th and a half off his time. It's going to open up 1/10, almost 2/10 over Joshua Chinsky, top Pro-Am driver, also sitting in second spot. Strong showing by the SRTE Black driver. He's had a strong season to this point.
Yeah, Joshua was a little concerned earlier in the season with the lack of top end speed of the Corvette, but he's certainly, the last couple of races, Rob, made it known that he is a competitor, and he's up here and looking for, podium positions with the best of the best in this series.
Yeah, it's he's got himself well placed ahead of the next Pro-Am driver, Jay Steffi, who's also our Pro-Am championship leader. So a nice qualifying by Steffi right now. Second in Pro-Am, but sitting in 8th, just ahead of fellow Pro-Ams, Tony Costello and Felix Feliz. But here I am praising Jay Steffi, and he just loses the back end on that last lap. So timing and scoring, I shouldn't say timing, scoring, the clock for qualifying has ticked over. But as we mentioned, usually every race, if the drivers cross the line before the clock ticked over, they can finish that lap. So still have a number of drivers on track, potentially finishing up a lap. Looks like a number of them pulling over there too as well. Kevin Bergquist, one of those drivers in Cabana. Looks like he's finished up his lap 2 as well. Possibly J.R. Williams coming around for one more lap. Jack Hedgecoast got him at the end by 100th right now. We'll see if JR's got something to offer him on his last lap.
Yeah, JR's looking to get that 7 1,000s back, but not going to happen. JR pulling off for now.
Yeah, I don't think we've seen in Throttle Freaks the qualifying so close at this point in time. Right now separated by 1/100th. It's actually probably a little closer, but that's all my timing screen goes to right now. But can't get much closer than that. And even Jim Feliz in third place, spoiler alert, as we're still waiting for qualifying to click over and finish here. But Jim Feliz sitting in third place, only 6 100ths back of those top 2 drivers. So real competitive between our top 3 right now in qualifying.
Yeah, it's going to make for some interesting action on the opening sequence, turns 1, 2, and 3. Very tight racing. I may not remember much of this track, Rob, but I remember those corners, and that quick lead up into that almost, I guess, a chicane section is going to be very interesting with these hard battling competitors.
Yeah, 43, I believe, last count, 44, because we don't have, doesn't look like we have an admin in the session. Well, I guess we got Colin McKenzie in, but he's racing. Normally have the extra admin of Sean Mulholland, but not in this week. So 44 drivers set to take to the grid here tonight, Rich. But timing and scoring just about finished up here as the clock ticks down the last few seconds. Then we'll have a look at the official qualifying grid. But it's going to be hectic out there to start. As you mentioned, turn 1 is going to be interesting.
That is for sure. Let's see what happens here tonight. We're going to go with timing and scoring. Is now published the results here. We got Jack Hedgecoast sitting on pole, followed very closely, 7 1,000s behind. J.R. Williams sits. Then we have Jim Feliz just 6 100s back, and Caleb Lehman is number 4. Joshua Chinsky sits in 5th place, followed by Ross Sortino. Chris Smecker is in 7th, followed by Matt Stadnick. Jay Steffi in 9th, followed by Tony Costello. Felix Feliz is in 11th, followed by Nicholas Goen in 12th.
13th place going to go to Dave Menino. Kevin Simpson in his outside there in 14th place. Herbert Pineda and Alex Hillman going to make up row 8 and 15th and 16th. Andrew Trickett in 17th with Guillermo Pere in 18th. Patrick Farrell and Seb Goche going to round out the top 20. Pete Mejia in 21st, and Javi Sierra to his outside in 22nd. Ian Cabana and Dale Peterson going to make up row number 12 here, and then we're going to move back into the top 25, Rich.
Yeah, Kevin Bergquist, followed by Sean Provost. Then we have Dave Jensen, followed by Jacob Fickner. Joshua Spears in 29th, followed by David Bush III, sitting down in 30th. Andrew Venaro is 31st, followed by David Morse. Then we have Robert Jeffries, followed by Brett Pancari. Mark File, followed by Chip Michaels.
Yeah, Chip Michaels, new driver this week, joining the Going racing team, but running his own is its max of 3 drivers. So Welcome in Chip, James Hand in 37th, Roy Brown in 38th, Colin McKenzie in 39th, Walda Walden back after a couple weeks off in 40th, Teddy Peterson in 41st, Neil Alexander in 42nd, Christopher Rhines 43rd, and Drew DeWeese going to round out the 44 car field here this evening.
Wow, that's a lot of cars for a very small track. I mean, it's not that small, Rob, but when we were watching them in qualifying, there seemed to be cars everywhere. I think there's going to be a lot of traffic here tonight.
Yeah, it's going to be a battle of patience. A number of our drivers are going to have to show some patience out there, but we should take a look at our other driver on cam too as well. Brent Pancari sharing his cam here this evening too as well. So we got Brent Pancari and Caleb Lehman going to give us his in-home cockpit shots here tonight, Rich.
Yeah, we've got Hi, I'm Daisy team, powered by Project 91, Brent Pancari. I always love his webcams. It's our first time getting to show him. We get to show him tonight. Thanks, Brad.
And again, I posted a link. That link should stay regular for every week. If there's another couple drivers that want to share their webcams too as well, we'll get you on broadcast. It's always a nice added touch to see what the drivers are doing sitting in their cockpit as well. I don't think you actually realize how much you're moving around unless you take a look at what you're doing on camera, Rich. It's kind of surprising.
Yeah, I've seen me on the webcam once on the broadcast, and it wasn't pretty.
Here we go. Green flag has dropped. Jack Hedgecock's J.R. Williams going to lead them into turn one. Looks like we got 4 or 5 cars fanning out into turn one. J.R. Williams going to hold on to second place. Jim Feliz fighting with Ross Sortino. Sortino up 3 spots early on with a massive jump off the start, but Jim Feliz starting to fight back on the inside here.
Yeah, while that's going on, we've had a couple of crashes going on in the backfield. We'll try and pick that up a little bit later on. We're going to continue following on the action here. Looks like these drivers up near the front have got them lined up in single file for the most part. Everybody getting through cleanly. We're following along here with Ross Sortino. Caleb Lehman following on behind.
Yeah, battle here between Feliz and Sortino from the drop of the green. Sortino was able to get around him early on, but Feliz has fought back, taking that position back now. Now it's Sortino having to hold off our championship leader, overall leader, as well as the pro leader, Matt Stadnick, who's got Caleb Lehman up the inside of him. Looks like Lehman going to take that spot away, as the Mercs we've seen are very strong here this evening, Rich. So we'll see what kind of pace that Matt Stadnick, our championship leader, can extract out of the Porsche.
Yeah, it's definitely going to be a difficult evening for a lot of these drivers. We've had a number of crashes, Rob. It looks like Joshua Chinsky has just crashed. We've had several cars go off track. We're going to see what we've got if we can follow along here. Josh Chinsky having a great qualifying effort, getting up on the curb, coming inside, and just looks like he got a little bit of a spin once he got up on the curb with cold tires, facing the wrong way. Not the position you want to be in, but it looks like he's going to get around and without any damage.
Yeah, luckily for him, looked like everybody was able to get around him, but something must have happened to him early on, because he was fairly far back in the pack at that point in time. He was up near the front to start the race, so we'll have to see if something happened, if maybe he was tied up in that early wreck. And I think I see it here. It looks like he had an off track. Not to make a bad day worse for Joshua, but let's see what got him back a little farther in the back. Oh, looks like a cold tire incident again. That Corvette just not happy under the cold tires. Lost the back end heading through there. It's unfortunately for him. And then we have the, looks like the big one to kick this off. Pete Mejia, Seb Gauthier, and Sean Provo all wrapped up in something.
Yeah, we had a whole bunch of cars going 2, 3, 4 wide, and there's not enough space for all these cars, and you know, it's just a pinch point, and everybody comes together, and that's kind of you know, people not exercising patience, Rob, trying to take advantage on the first corner, and you know, it's 45 minutes of racing. You got to be a little bit patient, guys.
Yeah, it looks like that was just a matter of too many cars trying to get into the same space, and 4 cars in. Looked like only 1 car came out of that one. Unfortunate start of the race for a number of drivers, but it looks like they're all still in the race right now, other than David Moore still in the pits. So nice to see that all those drivers are able to keep going, Rich. But Jack Hedgecock's bell the ball right now, out front, 6/10 up on J.R. Williams. Williams and Fleas trying to work together to chase down Hedgecock's up ahead.
Yeah, Jim Feliz back where he likes being, up in the podium position, but looking for a little bit more. We're following along with Jim Feliz coming down the main pit straight, going into turn 1, I believe. He's falling along behind J.R. Williams, closing the gap a little bit. But Jack Hedgeco's continue to lead the pack.
Yeah, it looks like Flea's starting to put a bit of pressure on the back of J.R. Williams now, as they've broken away from Sortino. Sortino having to deal with Matt Stanek and Caleb Liebman in behind. That three-car pack is kind of breaking away from the rest of the grouping in behind them. But I'm looking at my track map here that's not up on the screen, Rich, and it looks like from about 6th place all the way back to somewhere about 17th is in a pack, and then 18th all the way back to about 32nd or so is in a pack, just to show you the sheer mass of cars we have on track.
Yeah, we've definitely got, looks like I'm seeing 3 or 4 packs of cars led by 1, 2, and 3, and then the second pack here led by Ross Sortino, Matt Stanek. Matt Stanek having himself a good season thus far, applying some serious pressure. Pick it up with Kevin Simpson. Kevin Simpson is having a good battle himself, as is Nicholas Goen. Josh Goen, his brother, watching on, cheering him on. Nicholas in 9th place at this stage.
Yeah, strong start for Nicholas, holding it down for Goen Racing again. Rich, they got 2 of their drivers in the top 10 right now, with Jack Hedgecox leading the way, Nicholas Goen in 9th place. So if they can bring home those positions, it's gonna be another nice points haul again for their team championship potential.
Yeah, that's you couldn't ask for much more, really, for the teammates. But we're going to go back here with Pete Mejia and see how he's doing. I'm going to call him Pete Mejia just so the guys at work can get a good chuckle, because we all know they love it. So Pete Mejia sitting in 31st place, had a little bit of he was involved in that earlier incident, but Pete looking to get back on pace and try and make some advances.
Yeah, Pete not Mejia, currently trying to recover. We saw him involved in that turn 1 incident with a number of drivers, so not the start he wanted. Rich down 10 spots where he qualified, but he's going to take 1 away from Christopher Rhines. And so it's going to stop the bleeding a little bit for him, see if he can work on trying to catch Sean Provo up ahead, 2.3 seconds down the road.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a gap there. Pete's fallen down 10 positions, but he's trying to hold off Christopher Rhines, and Christopher Rhines is trying to hold off Jacob Fichtner in behind him. We're going to go back up a little further up the field. We're following along Patrick Farrell. Patrick sitting in 15th place right now, falling closely behind Alex Hillman in the Porsche.
Yeah, Hillman had a nice race last week, currently our 2nd place AM driver. So again, another nice race for him shaping up, but Patrick Farrell would like to take that spot away. Both those drivers up a few positions. Hillman up 2 spots, Farrell up 4 spots from where he qualified. So they were able to avoid that turn 1 carnage for the most part here. And it looks like they're actually pulling away a little bit from Guillermo Perret. And Guillermo is also our 3rd place AM driver. So the final step on the AM podium, currently held down by Perret. So he had a nice qualifying, turning it into a nice race right now.
Definitely. And while that's going on, Colin McKenzie looks like he's our big mover and shaker of the day, Rob. Colin up 17 positions thus far. Quite the incredible first 4.5 laps for Colin. Obviously taking advantage of the earlier incidents and managing to keep clean. Right now he's having himself going past the Mark File and now looking to make advances and catch up to the back of Dave Jensen. He's a couple of seconds behind now.
I wonder if maybe Colin was sandbagging at the start there, Rich, kind of hanging back. But oh no, it looks like something happened to one of our camera cars, Caleb Lehman and Chris Sprecher. Let's see if we can see what happened here. Lehman in the orange Mercedes. Fall along, so he's going to get a little contact there with Ross Sortino on the outside. They're going to spin around. Oh, Sprecher has to come to a complete stop there. Oh, and they just carry on. Nobody abiding by the yellow flags coming through there, Rich. That's unfortunate to see. You hope that they would have slowed down for that, as they would have been made aware of that carnage well in advance. That was a good 5-6 seconds before they came in there. So unfortunate to see. We'll see how the stewards roll on that one, but that's going to end a couple drivers' race.
Yeah, this is it's not what you want to see, but we're going to go back and look for some better racing. Jack Hedgecox. Jack having himself a great start to this race. He's got about a 7/10 second gap over J.R. Williams. J.R. Williams is gapped Jim Felice by about 9/10 now. Jim's falling off a little bit, but these 3 drivers sitting over 3 seconds ahead of Matt Stadnick at this stage.
Yeah, strong race right now for them, pulling well out ahead of the pack just by sheer not getting involved in anything, Rich, but Stadnick was actually the benefactor of that last wreck we saw. He was able to avoid Caleb Lehman and Chris Smecker, who he was battling with, and Sortino. Actually, all three of the other cars he was in that pack with, Rich, have all suffered some damage from that wreck. And Stadnik now kind of all in his lonesome. He's got almost 4 seconds to Jim Felice up ahead, and then it's 4 seconds back to Nicholas Goen in 5th place. So a little bit of an island here for Matt Stadnik. But let's take a look back here at, let's see how our other camera car, Brent Pancari, is shaping out. Just trying to find him. I just had him in the timing and scoring, and then I clicked away for a minute. Here it is. Nice showing for Brent. Another car that's made it up through the field here, Rich. Up 16 spots from where he started.
With our favorite team name, as we said last week, and doing a great job. And I just love the action we get to see with the in-car footage that Brett has so graciously provided us. Once again, as Rob said, if you want to get in on the action and get your face on the screen, you're more than welcome to. The links are in the Discord.
And he's got, we should make mention, Chip Michaels, driver I mentioned early on, his first race of the season, joining in this week. Up 17 spots as well, Rich, into 19th place. A number of those drivers taking advantage of some incidents early on, but you only get so many freebies, Rich. Some of those have to come by sheer determination too as well. So a nice little moving here amongst our cars in the middle pack. We got Mackenzie in 16th, up 23 spots. 17th place, Mark File up 18 spots. Pancari up 16 spots in 18th. Michael's up 17 spots in 19th. And Roy Brown up 18 spots in 20th. So nice moves by a number of those drivers just inside the top 20.
Well, I don't have the pace that you do, Rob. So as some of the other people in the broadcast may know, my motto is I may not be fast, but I last, and it's nice to see some of these mid-pack and slower drivers taking advantage of the situation and moving up through the field. You know, if that's all the pace you've got, take advantage wherever you can, and a number of our drivers are doing so tonight. But look at Joshua Spears here in the beautiful-looking car here, just gorgeous. He's sitting in 14th place right now.
Yeah, Spears Racing for SimCity Racing, which was started by a fellow that both of us know that unfortunately we lost last year, Martin Chris. So good to see that the guys in the team still out there representing him, and Josh Spears, I believe Zach Mosley also on the SimCity team, but we haven't seen him a couple weeks. I believe he told us he was going to be gone away from work. So right now Joshua Spears carrying the candle for that team.
Yeah, I've known Martin Chris since 2008 personally. Great gentleman. He really was one who was instrumental in getting me into sim racing. A very sad loss for the community, both in sim racing and RC racing. And Joshua Spears representing SimCity Racing quite well tonight.
Let's pop up here to see what our Goen brother that's in the session here tonight's doing. Still top Pro-Am, holding on to 5th spot. He's got Dave Menino in behind him though. Menino up 7 spots. Actually, both these drivers up 7 spots from where they started. So two of them kind of working together, working through the field. A couple of McLarens here, nose to tail. See if they can start to reel back in. Matt Stadnik up ahead, who's got about 4.5 seconds over them now.
Yeah, it's quite, Matt Stadnik's got himself in a great position. This isn't an overly heavily drafting track from what I've observed. So, if I'm Matt Stadnik, I'm going to be quite comfortable keeping those guys behind me, and glad that I've got that little oasis of space, especially behind me. I'd rather be catching the guys in front, and Matt's trying to make some gains now. He's only about 3.5 seconds back now.
Yeah, it looks like we've had a couple incidents in the back. Waldo Walden and David Morse wrapped up in something. Let's take a quick look here and see what happened to them. Waldo Walden back after a few weeks off in the Mustang. Looks like heading into turn 1. Let's see what happens to him here. Looks like he's actually just going to pull it over and call it quits. It's unfortunate for him, but let's see what happened to David Morse. Morse already missing the rear wing. That definitely doesn't spell a happy race car, Rich. So,
well, that's just making it lighter, but unfortunately, that lightness is causing a lack of downforce on the rear end, causing that spin there. David Morse really struggling along without some of that extra equipment that is kind of mandatory and not just optional.
Yeah, it's funny. It's little. Well, I shouldn't say it's little. They actually got quite a bit of downforce on the GT3 cars, but compared to a open wheel car, Formula car, even the prototype cars, they don't have near the downforce. So it's kind of surprising that even when they lose the back wing, that a car that doesn't have super downforce on it, how loose the back end gets. But Speaking of drivers that are in a battle, Javi Sierra here on board as he's got Andrew Trickett up ahead of him. It's a battle for 12th and 13th place. They got Joshua Spears, car we were looking at earlier, starting to close in on them quick.
Yeah, it's been an interesting first 13 and a half minutes of this race, Rob. We're on lap 9. We got a 45-minute race. We're going to have a pit stop to go. We're going to see, I think, at some point, the leaders start coming across traffic, because with all of these incidents and whatnot, this field is getting a little bit spread out. We've got about just over half a track from first to 32nd now. So there's going to be some traffic in play later on. We're going to see how everybody manages to negotiate things. But Javi Sierra having himself a good race thus far in 13th place. Oh, and it looks like we had somebody else off there in the corner there, Rob.
I think that was David Morse again, still trying to get that car back to the pits, but J.R. Williams has caught up to Jack Hedgecox now. So we'll see what kind of pressure Williams can put on the back of Hedgecox. Now remember, these two drivers only separated by 1/100th in qualifying, so we know they have very comparable pace. We'll see who can extract a little more race space as it is right now. If they battle at all, Jim Feliz only about a second and a half back from that battle, could get right back up in there for a nice three-way battle for top spot.
Yeah, Jim Feliz is a little bit back, but that's not necessarily the worst place to be, as we have seen time and time again, unfortunately. Jack Hedgecox having control right now, but J.R. Williams wanting nothing of it. J.R. Williams is sticking close, not making moves right now, just taking advantage, looking for any opportunities if they present themselves. If Jack makes a mistake, JR's there, ready to pounce.
Yeah, there's no real reason right now with only 15 minutes into a 45-minute race, for J.R. Williams to really put a ton of pressure on Jack Hedgecox, and at the very least, chance something happening and the two of them being taken out of the race, right? So he's going to hang back there, try and save some fuel if you can, and try and just leapfrog him through the pit strategy. As long as they can keep Jim Feliz behind him, or even if Feliz catches up, it kind of takes the same mindset where the three of them can kind of work together, Rich, and see how they can bring it home to the end and then battle it out with the last few laps.
Well, that's definitely it. I mean, it's a long race. Let's open up a little bit of a gap here, as they've done to Jim Feliz. Let's decide this near the end, and it looks like that's what these two drivers are content doing at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. I'm having a look at the track map here, and as you were mentioning, it looks like most of the top 10 fairly spread out, but if we go back to 7th place Kevin Simpson, we got a battle shaping up here between Simpson, Hillman in behind him, Farrell, and Perret. That's going to be a battle for 7th place, currently being held down by Kevin Simpson.
Kevin Simpson's shown very good pace this season and last season. We've had him in the interview room a couple of times in previous races. Kevin always quite honest as a driver, but we're going to follow along the back of this pack. Guillermo Perret doing a good job of following along. Guillermo having a good battle, trying to catch up to the back of Patrick Farrell. Patrick all over the back of Hillman. So Kevin Simpson leading this train, having a little bit of a gap right now.
Yeah, as we take a look back here at Hillman, you can see Farrell and Perret kind of lurking in the background. Actually surprised to see Perret nosing out to the left there, not trying to utilize the draft off of Patrick Farrell up ahead. Interesting move there. You think you would want to stay in there as tight as you can, trying to pull away from Bergquist and Trickett, who are kind of lurking in behind as well in this pack. We could see them joining this pack sooner rather than later if they continue to just kind of work together, push the envelope forward. But we got the movers and shakers, the positions gained up on the timing tower there now. We see Colin McKenzie now up 25 spots, got himself in the top 15 now, Rich. Strong race by him after starting in almost the back end of the field.
Oh, very strong. But and Colin also our race director tonight, making the pre-race announcements. So, maybe he should do that a little more often. So I'd also like to take a look right behind him, or not right behind him, but the position behind him, Mark Feil. Mark Feil, he is up 20 positions. We don't get to speak a lot about Mark with his racing performance moving up, and let's make note of that tonight. Mark doing a great job tonight. 20 positions up, nothing to sneeze at. Great job, Mark.
Yeah, he's got himself just outside the podium for the AM positions. Kevin Burke was currently holding down 3rd spot on the AM side of things in 11th place, so not too far down the road from Mark Feil. We could see him potentially reel in that spot. Still a long race to go, as we're still have 27 minutes almost in this one to go, Rich, so plenty of time for mistakes to happen, drivers to move up and down the order.
Yeah, it's lots of time left. No sense of rushing or pushing overly. Well, you want to push, but whoa! Big spin in the background here behind Brett McCurry.
I didn't quite.
Looks like it was going to push the third.
Yeah, it looks like he's getting back on track there. See if we can catch a quick replay of what happened to David Busch III, the Lamborghini. Oh, that inside curb there. These FIA grade tracks here, the grade 1, grade 2 tracks, they have that kind of sawtooth curbing to them, Rich. I'm sure you're familiar with it with a lot of the open wheels you drive, where they're very elevated. In certain cars, you can kind of almost bottom out over them. It looked almost like it just unsettled the car and he lost the back end. I'm actually surprised. Maybe David Busch III isn't all that familiar with the track or isn't a real fan of the track, but from what I've seen in the official results all week, the Lamborghini and the Audi, we don't have any Audis in this season. Nobody's driving the Audi, but they were strong all week. I actually took the Audi out for some laps after trying the Porsche, and it was definitely a lot easier to get around the track. The Porsche was really tough. A lot of these fast sweeping corners where the pendulum effect really wanted to bring the back end of the car around. So we'll see if David Busch III can pop into the pits, utilize his pit stop, see where he comes back out. Looks like Guillermo Perez going to take advantage of pits too as well.
Yeah, David Busch III wisely going to the pits, let the tires cool off a bit, let himself cool off a bit. Fortunately, he only lost a couple of positions in that little spin, so we're going to go back on board here. Andrew Trickett sitting in 10th place right now, with Kevin Bergquist all over the back of him. Kevin Bergquist up 14 positions. Kevin up 7 positions. Lots of changes in movers and shakers with all of the incidents on board. Some of these mid-pack guys are really making some strong advances. You know, not just being amateurs. They're up there battling in positions well above their weight class tonight.
Yeah, it's the nice thing about points being doled out regardless of where you are in your class and finishing in your class. The points are doled out in your overall finishing position. It looks like I'm going to take a look at something here. Normally our AM drivers are a little more cautious, Rich, in the way they navigate around the track, where they don't really push the limit as much. And it looks like it's kind of working out well for them, as if you look, all our AM drivers are the green numbered drivers. They got themselves firmly in the overall positions from 8th place back to about 28th. Then we got the pros up top and a mixture of the pro-ams in behind. Looks like it hasn't been a great night for our pro-am drivers, as we've got a number of them in the back end of the field suffering from incidents early on.
Yeah, that's definitely something that I try and take advantage of, and a nice to see Kevin Bergquist doing the same. We're going to go back up to the front, though. It's been a while since we followed these guys. Jack Hedgecock continues to lead J.R. Williams. Jack Hedgecock's having himself a good battle and leading quite a long way. They're doing quite well tonight, Rob. These two drivers have really broken away. Jim Feliz falling well behind at this stage now. He's a couple of seconds, 2.5 seconds back of these two.
Yeah, I thought Feliz might be able to reel them in. Again, top 3 drivers, which all 3 of these top 3 have kind of stayed in their qualifying position. Feliz was only about 600s back of those top 2 qualifying position too as well, but I wonder if there's strategy at play here, Rich. Is Feliz on the SRTE purple team, and then in behind him another SRTE purple driver of Matt Stadnik? Could he potentially be backing up to try and pick up Matt Stadnik to see if the two of them can kind of push forward, and after the pit cycle try and snatch away a spot from J.R. Williams or Jack Hedgecock?
Well, I like your thinking, but I don't think that's it. I mean, at least it wouldn't be it if it was me. But then again, I'm never up at the pointy end of the field, so who knows? We're going to go back here, though. Jay Steffi doing having a nice little recovery here. He's trying to have a little recovery. Jay falling along behind Pete Mejia at this stage of the race. Jay involved in that earlier incident, looking to get back on track. He's down 13 positions, looking for a lot more.
Yeah, Steffi came into this one being the Pro-Am leader, so he's definitely going to want to try and snatch back some spots that he lost early on. As you mentioned, down 12 spots, so he'd love to get back around Pete Mejia. But Pete Mejia, last time we checked in on him, Rich, we were talking about how he was recovering from that early turn one, lap one incident. He's got himself back into the plus category as far as positions, up one spot into 20th place. A nice recovery for him.
Pete doing a great job of doing some recovery and back on track. Fortunately, it looks like he had no damage. I think a lot of those drivers managed to get through that first corner calamity with very little damage. And as long as they got straightened out and back on track, they're back on board and going hard. So Mejia having a good run.
Yeah, they got Dale Peterson just ahead of them too as well. So it's a battle for 19th, 20th, and 21st. So a McLaren sandwiched in between a couple of Acuras here. So we'll see who is a little more superior on pace. But James Hand, Ian Cabana, not too far back either. Just kind of lurking in the background of this one. Or sorry, not Ian Cabana. That's Venaro a lap down, just hanging off the back end. But we'll see if James Hand can use the lap car of Andrew Venaro to try and work together up front. It's not a race for Venaro that he would have had to envision, or he would have envisioned before the race here. He was firmly up towards the front end of the Pro-Am standing, so he's going to take a bit of a hit this week as Pete Mejia going to pop in for his pit cycle.
Yeah, going in now, we're just over halfway through the race. The pit window is going to be open for a few more laps, I would anticipate, based on previous races. Mejia getting out of the heat, getting a little top of fuel, getting a few second breather. Going to get back in it. We're going to go back on board here. Alex Hillman having himself a good battle with Patrick Farrell. Patrick looking to make a charge on him at this stage, but Alex Hillman holding him off for now.
Yeah, strong run for Hillman, our top AM driver right now. Farrell, our second place Pro-Am driver, so fairly competitive pace between the two of them. We see Kevin Simpson starting to pull away from that duo. Last we checked on them, Simpson was only a couple tenths ahead. He's now got that gap almost to 1 second, almost out of his draft. But unfortunately for him, Nicholas Gowen quite a ways up the track, another 10 seconds ahead of Kevin Simpson as he's trying to chase down Dave Meninoa. Meninoa got by Gowen not long ago, so that's going to still keep Gowen as our top Pro-Am driver. Is going to bump him just outside the top 5.
Yeah, that's just outside the top 5 is not a bad place to be if you're number one in your category. So good job by Nicholas Gowen tonight, representing Gowen Racing. Gowen Racing sitting in first. Gotta love it.
They can't really ask for much more than that, I guess, right? But let's take a look back at our one of our camera cars again. Brent Pancari, he's come in for his pit service, back out on track, so he's got enough fuel to get him to the end. He's going to try and chase down Josh Spears now, 5.9 seconds up the track. But I'm not sure, is that books on his? Is that a bookshelf full of books, or is it magazines, or is it movies there, Rich? But that's a heck of a collection he's got in behind him.
He's also got some games there. I think I see a golf game. It might be Tiger Woods. I mean, it's real small on my screen, but he's got some sports memorabilia. Brett always showcases a good backdrop for us to view.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to message him later because we mentioned it off camera before the session started. That's the Kitchener Rangers banner he's got hanging on the wall there. So a guy who could be, for all I know, could be living down the street from me, Rich. So I'll have to find out how close he is. Maybe he's just in a neighboring city or so forth. But we'll just to see how it works out. But Pancari doing well right now in 25th place. We'll see how he proceeds as the race goes on.
Well, you may want to check and make sure he's not in your basement, Rob. Have you looked behind you lately? Anyhow, we're going to go back on board. We've got Dave Jensen, Sean Provost, and Jacob Figner battling it out for 13th, 14th, 15th position right now. Good little 3-car field battle. Dave Jensen, we don't get to speak much about, but having himself a good race thus far, as is Sean Provost.
Yeah, Provost going to pop into the pits here, Rick, trying to see if he can leapfrog ahead of Jensen, trying to use the undercut. So we'll see how that works out for him. But Fichtner going to take that position, and he's going to try and pursue Dave Jensen now for 13th place.
Yeah, that's a very interesting pit entry and exit. Really, timing and scoring really likes to mess with our minds on that, Rob. But following along here, Jacob Fichtner having himself a good race. Jacob getting involved in a little bit of incident last week, if I recall correctly. But Jacob at this stage having himself a very good showing of 14 positions. Jacob having not pitted yet. We'll see where he cycles out once the pit stops have ended.
Yeah, it looks like he's closing it up quite a bit on the back of Jensen. Once that gap kind of closed in, he was able to focus forward. He's been kind of reeling in Jensen fairly quickly. So we'll see if either one of these drivers pop in this time by Rich to utilize their pit stop, as we've got to be getting to the tail end of the fuel cycle. If I remember correctly, in races past, they've went about 32 minutes at the max, so we're starting to get close to that range here now. Speaking of which,
Yeah,
our
up
leader,
in
Jack
first.
Hedgecoke, is in for the pits.
Wow. A little bit earlier than I would expect it, but Jack, he's obviously knows a lot better than I do on what he's doing. Nice little burnout exiting pit lane, and Jack back going on track, trying to get that car dialed up. It's just a matter of waiting until, there we go, he's past the cones, back on the throttle. Let's see what he does.
And it's like you mentioned, it's a strange pit entrance and exit here. It's a very short entrance, but it's a really long exit. It feels like it's forever before you can get back into the throttle, but he's going to cycle back out into 8th place. So we'll see if Williams and Feliz respond here this time by.
Yeah, J.R. Williams is having himself a good race thus far. We'll see where he cycles out. He's got himself about 2.8 second gap now over Jim Feliz. Jim Feliz not really falling much further behind, but not making any gains. He's kind of staying constant in that 3rd place position net once these pit cycles come through. And J.R. Williams coming in now. This must be the getting near the end of the pit cycle, Rob. And yes, Jim Feliz right in behind him. So top 3 drivers all having pitted now, or all have entered pit lane at least.
Yeah, Feliz and Williams going to respond. So looks like Menino in 2 as well. Let's pick up our leader before the pit cycles, Jack Hedgecoke, to see where he cycles through. Coming into the final sector here now. A couple more corners to go into the sharp right-hander, and then this is the section where I mentioned in the track guide where you really want to cut it, but if you get too far on the left, there is a nasty slowdown there, Rich. 1.2 seconds, if I remember correctly. And with it being only a corner before the start-finish line, that's really it could be a race-ending slowdown through there. But Hedgecock's across the line. Feliz and Williams still in their pit stalls. So I guess their pit stalls are on the exit ramp now. Looks like Hedgecock's... Oh, he's going to come out behind J.R. Williams. J.R. Williams potentially taking that spot away, but Hedgecock's tires are going to be back up to temp. We'll see how in and out of this corner J.R. Williams can get this tricky little right-hand, left-hand section with cold tires, or colder tires. It's going to be a little tricky for him. See what kind of run Hedgecock gets down here through the straight, if he can make a move up to the left.
Yeah, that was a great job by J.R. Williams getting up to first place. Oh, Jack Hedgecoke's getting his nose in and getting into the back of J.R. Williams. J.R. Williams spins. J.R. Williams dropping down to 3rd place. Jim Feliz getting by as well.
Yeah, we'll have to take a look at that, possibly from the chopper cam, to see if it was a net code or what all actually happened there, Rich, but not exactly what J.R. Williams would have envisioned coming out of the pits.
Yeah, for old time's sake, I think we got to call that the LAPD chopper the chase cam, Rob.
There we go. Seeing Hedgecock's get a run up the inside, going to dive up underneath. Oh, looks like a little bit of contact there, but unfortunately that sends J.R. Williams off. Only lost the 1 spot to Feliz. Well, I guess actually lost 2, but 1 spot before the pits to Feliz. So we'll see if he can start to push forward and try and gain back those spots. Still plenty of time to try and get back up there, Rich. We've got about 12 and a half minutes to go in this one.
Yeah, now we've got Nick Goen has made his pit stop, so all of our drivers on track have pitted now, Rob. So pit cycles are over once we have Nicholas exiting pit lane. So we'll see where everybody sits just in a matter of seconds now.
Yeah, it looks like Goen going to come back out into 6th place, which he was holding before the cycles. Dave Menino going to get back around him, but story up front. Battle for 1st place. Might have ended in tears, but right now J.R. Williams trying to get back around Jim Feliz. So we'll see. Feliz had fallen back off that do-up at... Oh, a little slidey through the corner there. Feliz trying to get back into the throttle as early as he can. Williams trying to pounce on the inside. A couple SRTE sister team cars battling it out here. But the SRTE yellow driver of J.R. Williams is going to take that spot away from the purple driver of Jim Flees. J.R. Williams back up into second place. So I guess it's a little compensating for the spot he lost there, Rich, but I'm sure he would still elect to have been leading the race at this point in time.
Yeah, I don't think J.R. Williams is too pleased with what happened there, but that's not for us to judge. We're going to go back on board. Jay Steffi, Jay in 20th place. Jay down 11 positions. He's battling and trying to get by Chip Michaels. Chip Michaels, our first time seeing him this season, as we said earlier. Jay Steffi looking for a little bit of redemption now.
Oh, I think we might just saw a little bit of sportsmanship here off camera. I think Jack Hedgecoke's actually slowed down to let J.R. Williams pass. Let's take a look here and see. He did.
You know, I made a comment, Rob, and look what happens. Great sportsmanship from Jack Hedgecoke's. That's what we want to see. Jack realized he made a little bit of an error, gave that position back to JR. Let's go battling for the last 11 minutes and see who comes out on top. A great job, Jack. Let's see how this shapes out. Now we got 1, 2, 3, all battling nose to tail. And then it looks like we've got Matt Stadnik up in the battle now with that little move. So that 3-car train is now a 4-car train and maybe a 5-car train soon.
Yeah, it'd be interesting to see what our overall leader can do here now. Stadnik, that he's caught up to this pack via a little bit of bumping and banging by the lead trio here. So we'll see if Stadnik's got anything to offer. As I mentioned, I tried the Porsche out here this week. You can get as quick a lap as the other cars, but it makes you work for it a whole lot more compared to some of the other cars. So Stadnik doing well right now to hang with these drivers. We'll see if he has extracted anything and learned anything throughout the race. But this battle between Chip Michaels and Jay Steffi still going on. Steffi's finally gotten around Michaels after putting a ton of pressure on him here for the last lap.
Yeah, Jay Steffi has a great beard and great pace. You can appreciate a great beard there, Rob. So nice to see Jay battling back hard. And Chip Michaels is certainly representing himself well in his first appearance with Throttle Freaks.
Yeah, well done. I believe I raced against Chip back in PRL in the LMP2 GTP series that we did the one time, and he was fairly quick in the prototype, so I'm not surprised to see he has a little bit of pace out here in the GT3 machinery. But let's go back up front to see what the battle's shaping out up front. J.R. Williams still leading the way. Hedgecoke's in second, Feliz in third, and Stadnik hanging on to the back of this quartet with under 10 minutes to go. Rich, it's going to be time for our drivers to start trying to find their way up into top spot.
Yeah, it definitely is. But J.R. Williams, looks like J.R. Williams is actually going to be closing in on some lap traffic shortly. So we'll see if that comes into play, Rob. These guys are having well, look at this. No, I guess the lap traffic isn't going to come into play. Great job of sportsmanship there, pulling off, letting the lead 5-car pack pull through without any interference.
Yeah, it's recognizing the blue flag moments late in a race when you're not battling anybody. That's what we like to see. So well done to, I believe that was Patrick Farrell potentially in the back end in the purple McLaren pulling off. So well done by them. But Hedgecoke's, since he let Williams back by, he hasn't been able to put a ton of pressure onto him here. So we'll see if he starts to find a little extra pace. He was out front for the majority of the race here, starting on pole, but it's like Williams, once he's got that Mercedes out front, it's fairly strong, likes the clean air a little more than the dirty air behind the BMW.
Everybody likes clean air better than dirty air, Rob. But wow, we're shaping up for a good finish here. We've got this 4-car train with the 5th car trying to get in the action. I was picking out. I'm pretty sure that was Herbert Pineda. Herbert, thank you very much for that great sportsmanship. A little bit earlier we exhibited. Jack Hedgecoke's looking to try and make a move on J.R. Williams, this time looking to make it a little bit cleaner. These two have broken up a little bit away from Jim Feliz at this stage. Jack Hedgecoke's all over the back of J.R. Williams now, applying a little bit of pressure, trying to get J.R. Williams to flinch, and J.R. Williams is having none of it thus far.
Yeah, it looks like again this week the Acura not quite up to snuff with the BMWs and the Mercedes, who have really kind of come alive this season. A lot of the German cars, the BMW and Mercedes, the Porsche, all very strong this season in every race that we've had to this point. So Feliz doing well to hold into third place there. He's got his teammate Matt Stanek in behind, so I don't suspect they'll be too rough, we'll say, in battling, or argy-bargy, to use another term in their battles, but we'll have to see as it shapes out. But we still got a battle back here between Alex Hillman and Andrew Trickett. Trickett holding on to 9th place, Hillman in the final spot in the top 10. So Hillman actually our top AM driver too as well. Trickett holding down the final step in the Pro-Am side of things. So nice race by these two drivers.
Yeah, definitely. These Hillman's having himself a very, very good season thus far, and getting a lot of TV time, as I like to call it. Alex Hillman all over the back of Andrew Trickett. Good little battle going on as we come along the pit straight. Start another lap. They're starting lap, I believe, 25 now.
Yeah, it looks like Trickett going to pull away from Hillman a little bit, but Pete Mejia a little farther back, trying to put some pressure on Dale Peterson with Chip Michaels not too far ahead. So Michaels continuing to move up forward, but Pete Mejia as well on his recovery. He's actually lost one spot that he had gained before the pit cycle. So if he could take that spot away from Dale Peterson, that'd put him back to an even 0 right where he started. Rich, I guess that's some salvation from what happened in turn 1.
Yeah, it's some salvation. It's not the race he was hoping for, I'm sure, but Pete sticking with it, making some good battles, trying to get on Dale Peterson and get by him, and Dale Peterson at the same time trying to get by Chip Michaels.
Yeah, we
go
head
back here.
to...
We've got David Bush III here. David Bush III is having himself a good battle with Jacob Figner. David Bush III diving up the inside. Jacob Figner going around the outside. Getting real close. Jacob Figner going wide. David Bush III going a little tighter. But it looks like Figner holding him off for now.
Yeah, last time we saw Bush III, he was coming back on track after having a little bit of an excursion. They popped into the pits, so he got himself up 13 spots. But as you mentioned, battling with Jacob Figner for 16th position. Figner currently holding on that spot, doing the best he can to try and hold off the charge from David Bush III.
Yeah, David Bush III not having the race we were accustomed to seeing out of him, but once again, he's the only Lambo driver we're watching right now, and he's sitting there mid-pack and made some good gains tonight. So no harm, no foul.
Just saw in timing and scoring, it looked like Sean Provo pulled over to let Chase Steffi through. So I'm not sure if Provo got a little squirrely there, but saw quickly that Steffi had popped through and started pulling away. So that's going to move Steffi up another spot into 18th, still down from where he started, but still about 5.5 seconds back of his fellow Pro-Am driver, David Bush III, who they're both actually in the championship battle up in the top 3 of Pro-Am. Rich, so Steffi going to want to try and get every point he can coming into this race as the Pro-Am leader.
Yeah, every point matters because you never know what the difference is going to be at the end of the season. 1 point tonight may make the difference between second, third, fourth, or fifth, or wherever you are. Go back here with Kevin Berquist, though. Kevin is sitting, I believe, in second right now, if I'm not mistaken, Rob, in the amateur class. Kevin having himself a great race. Kevin up 14 positions, sitting in 11th overall, just outside of the top 10.
Yeah, nice showing by Kevin right now. Second spot in the AM podium there. We'll sort the drivers quickly here by the class they're in. It also shows their overall position, so you can see that we got quite a mix of Pro and AM Pro-Am and AM drivers firmly up in the top 20, with the top 7 being populated by mainly pro drivers. So interesting race here this evening, Rich. It's been a lot of attrition, a lot of incidents, but we're getting down to the final few minutes of this one, and it looks like J.R. Williams starting to open up that gap even further over Jack Hedgecoats.
Yeah, Jack applied a lot of pressure. I'm wondering if he used up a little more tires than he wanted to. When you're underneath the back rear wing of the car ahead of you, you're really exercising and using a lot more tire than the guy ahead of you. So JR's got himself a little bit of a gap right now, about 0.8 right now. Jack Hedgecoats looking to close it down, but not much time remaining right now. And now we got, if I see, Matt Stadnik is actually up to third place, Rob.
It is. Looks like he was able to get around Jim Feliz. And I was just trying to look through timing and scoring here to see how that happened, but I don't see anything flagged up here, so I'm wondering if it was just a quick little bobble for Jim Feliz, but I'll continue to look for that. But time's starting to run down here for our leaders.
Yeah, J.R. Williams continuing to, now he's pulling up a 9.5 tenths. He's almost a full second gap over Jack Hedgecock's. This is J.R. Williams to lose at this stage. J.R. Williams having a great race after the little incident earlier on with Jack and everything getting themselves sorted out. The drivers sorting it out themselves, and no steward's going to need to be involved with that. So nice to see. Jack Hedgecock's, though, not giving up at this stage. He's closed it back down to less than 7 tenths. So wow, Jack Hedgecock's really coming on strong now. It looks like we're down into the last lap or two here at this stage, Rob. Drivers are applying all the pressure they can.
Yeah, they'll have this lap plus one more, so time running out. So I wonder if Hedgecock's maybe backed off a little bit, Rich, to try and cool his tires down for the last lap or two push here. As you mentioned, he's really starting to push forward, trying to close down that gap on J.R. Williams. Matt Stanek not too far back now. Once he got around Jim Feliz, he's starting to close back up on that duo out front.
Yeah, it's man, it's been a thrilling race, Rob. I mean, we've had it all tonight. Great sportsmanship, a whole bunch of calamity, not too much argy-bargy, as you say, and wow, it's just, you know, this track and these drivers have put on a good show so far. As we watch it once again, drivers coming back, the lead pack coming past the lap driver of looks like Brown. So Roy Brown moving out of the way, letting 1 and 2 leaders battle it out to the end.
Yeah, that's what we like to see. As our leaders have went around, they're on the final lap here now, Rich. So it's coming down to last chance for romance here. But have you learned the track yet, Rich? You feeling comfortable driving the track yet?
I'm not driving it. I'll call the race here, though. So, like I said, I drove it once. It didn't work out so well. It was raining. Oh, Dale Peterson getting a little bit loose off onto the grass, but managing to keep it pointing in the right general direction. So we're coming around towards the end of the race here. Jack Hedgecock's is now less than half a second behind, but he's running out of real estate here. We're on the last lap and entering turn 9 of this 16-corner racetrack. Not much time left. If Jack wants victory, he's going to have to really apply pressure now.
Yeah, this is the last real straight to make a move. You see J.R. Williams giving razzle dazzle to James Hand, the lap car up ahead. It doesn't look like Hedgecock's getting enough of a draft to make a move into turn 13 and 14. So at this point in time, he's going to have to settle for second place unless there's a mistake from J.R. Williams. See Hedgecock's getting deep onto the brakes into turn 11. The razzle dazzle's out again for James Hand up ahead, but a couple more corners to go. Barring any mistake, looks like J.R. Williams going to bring this one home and get redemption after his turn 1 incident last week at VIR.
Yeah, J.R. Williams coming across the line, taking victory. Is it Barney? Come on, Barney.
Barney on strike again as usual. We're on board with Dave Menino. Out of the final corner for him, Nicholas Goen. Nice run by Nicholas, going to be our top Pro-Am driver. Looks like he's going to bring it home. 6th place overall for him. Nice showing for him. Excellent race. Patrick Farrell going to be our number 2 Pro-Am driver, sorry. Andrew Trickett just in behind him. And then our top AM driver, not too far back of him, Alex Hillman. Got himself top 10 finish, also as the top step on the AM. So nice showing by him. Kevin Bergquist, another great run by him too as well. 2nd spot in the AM side. And Mark Feil, as you mentioned earlier, strong race for him, Rich. He's going to bring home 3rd spot in the AM side of things.
Yeah, great job, Mark. Congratulations. And actually, Barney is waving the flag. We're just looking at the wrong Barney. There's 2 Barneys, Rob.
Too many Barneys out here. We got one on strike and one working.
David Bush III bringing it home in 16th place, followed by Jay Steffi.
Yeah, still got a number of drivers heading to the line here, Rich, but 43 car field. Looks like we're going to have about 25 drivers coming home on the official first on the lead lap here. So well done by those drivers. We lost a number of drivers early on, but a shorter track, tight confines like this, 25 cars home on the lead lap is nothing to really cry about.
No, definitely not. I think once we got through, the first 3 or 4 corners of lap 1, it was a fairly clean race from what we managed to pick up, anyways. It was just that opening corner where five tried to go into one spot and it just didn't work out. So once we got all that sorted out, great racing.
Yeah, well done. Why don't you take us through the results here, Rich?
Yeah, the overall winner tonight, J.R. Williams leading over Jack Hedgecoats in second. Then we had Jim Feliz 4 seconds back in third, followed by Matt Stadnick and Dave Manoa rounding out the top five. Nicholas Goen, he is our top Pro-Am driver, sitting in sixth place, followed by Kevin Simpson in seventh. Patrick Farrell in eighth, our second place Pro-Am driver, followed by Andrew Trickett, our third place Pro-Am driver. Alex Hillman rounds out the top 10. Alex, our top amateur, followed by Kevin Bergquist, our second placed amateur. Then we had Colin McKenzie, followed by Joshua Spears. Mark Field having a great race, followed by Dave Jensen. Then we had David Bush the third in 16th, followed by Jay Steffi in 17th. Sean Provo in 18th, followed by Pete Mejia in 19th. Dale Peterson rounds out the top 20.
Yeah, long list of drivers. Fichtner in 21st, Michaels, Alexander, Cabana, Rhines, Han, Brown, Gauthier, Peterson, and Sprecher are going to round out the top 30, where we see Brent Pancari. Unfortunately for him, a strong race went to naught in the end. Drew Deweese, Venaro, Pineda, Perret, Sierra, Waldo Walden, Joshua Chinsky, David Morris, and Caleb Lehman going to round out the top 40. Ross Sortino, Tony Costello, Felix Feliz, Robert Jeffries, all out early on in this one. So a couple drivers with races to remember, Rich, and a bunch of other drivers with races they'd like to forget about really quick.
Yes, that's unfortunately always the way. We've got some winners and we've got some losers, and the losers not necessarily through any fault of their own. It's just that's racing, and sometimes bad things happen.
Sometimes bad things happen to good people, Rich. But looks like we've got our overall winner, J.R. Williams. Oh, there he is. J.R. Williams in the booth. We'll have Rich catch up with him.
Hey, JR, congratulations on the victory tonight.
Yeah, thank you. I'm honestly not the way I would want to go about the win, but I guess I'll take what I can get.
Yeah, well, we saw the little incident with you and Jack earlier in the race, and it looked like Jack displayed some sportsmanship to let you regain that position. So why do you mean not the way you wanted it?
I'd rather not have had to have gotten the position back. I'd rather have just fought it out straight up, for getting spun and then having to come given the spot back. So it's good sportsmanship. I just I don't know. I would have rather it have been clean.
Oh, for sure. I gotcha. Well, it was definitely an interesting race. You and Jack had a great battle. Jim Felice following along behind, looking for an opportunity. Other than that incident, how did things go? Go according to plan? I mean, your pit exit there really seemed to make the difference.
Yeah. There wasn't really a lot of places to make a move here without sending it, I guess, as we saw. So instead of trying to do something aggressive in the first stint, I figured I would fuel save a bit and see if I could undercut, and then see if I could hold him off afterwards, which ended up, essentially working out. So I guess you could say it went to plan.
Oh, awesome. Well, congratulations. Anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got a shout out to my team. They help put in the work and keep me motivated. So honestly, sometimes those sessions with those guys can be as exciting or almost as exciting as these races. So appreciate all those guys.
Awesome. Well, congratulations. We look forward to seeing you next week.
Yep. Thank you, guys.
Thanks.
That was our overall winner, J.R. Williams. Let's bring in second place, Jack Hedgecoats. Jack, we just had a chat with J.R. Williams. I guess he was happy about the sportsmanship, giving that spot back, but obviously he would have rather just battle it out. But gentlemanly move of you there, recognizing that you got into the left rear of him, gave that spot back, and then you tried to battle it out. Looks like you had backed off a little bit for the last couple laps to make a run up towards the front, but weren't quite able to get that spot back in the end.
Yeah, I knew it was gonna be close out of the pits, so I couldn't get him out of my draft for that first stint. So I knew it would be close, and sure enough, it was. Came out right in front of me. So I tried to go for it since I knew he'd be kind of slower on the outlap, and I mean, I didn't want to leave it up to the stewards, to be honest. With how I don't want to take any incidents and stuff with how the championship's going, so I would rather let him by and try and pass again. But yeah, like you said, I was after I let him by, I was with him for a little bit, and then the tires started getting hot behind him, so I tried to get it back for one last time, but it was hard to get too close enough to really have a shot at it. But I'll take P2 at the end of the night.
Yeah, well done in the end. But we head to Magny-Cours next week. I'm gonna say it's another European wide open, wide spaces type of track. Do you have much experience there in the GT machinery?
Definitely not GT. I've done only in the formulas, so I don't. I personally do not like the track that much. The Sector 3, I feel like in these things are going to be brutal, especially. I mean, if I'm thinking of the right track, that final chicane is going to be just single file. So, I don't know. I feel like it's probably going to be my worst track of the season. I'll be honest. So we'll see how it goes, but definitely not as looking forward to it as I was this week.
Well, excellent stuff. Best of luck to you next week, Jack, and we hope to see you battling up front again.
Appreciate it, guys.
Take care. That was second. That was second place, Jack Hedgecox. Let's bring in our top AM driver here, Nicholas Goen, to have a chat. Or sorry, top pro AM driver, Nicholas Goen, to have a chat with Richard Swindells.
Hello.
Hey, congratulations, Nick. Your brother's cheering you on in the YouTube chat, and great victory for you.
Thank you. Glad to have the family watching as always. It's good to win one.
So there was a lot of calamity there. How'd you manage to get through all that? And you moved up, looks like 6 positions on the night, and you got yourself top of the heap.
Yeah, I honestly don't know how I squeezed through that little pileup that was in like 5 and 6. I honestly thought I was going around. I think it was one of the red SRT Mercedes. There's so many of them on the track, but I think it was lean, and I saw him start to roll around, and I thought I was getting tagged, but I'm super glad I was able to squeeze through, and I think that checked up everyone else behind him. And gave me a nice gap. I was racing there with Menino for a while, so that was fun.
Well, it's always good when you're racing with somebody of the caliber of Dave Menino. So certainly a little redemption after VIR. You must be pleased. Anybody you'd like to shout out? I'm assuming you want to shout out your team. Man, you guys are doing great so far this season.
Yeah, shout out to the rest of the team. Jack just fell one short. He felt really good. He was surprised to be on pole there at the beginning, but I did see that he got overtaken by JR at some point. But the whole team's been. Go ahead.
Yeah, we'll let you watch the broadcast and see how that all transpired, Nick. I don't want to spoil that for you.
Appreciate that. But yeah, the rest of the team's been doing really, really well, and especially after today, it definitely felt to get this one back. I definitely felt like I threw the win away last week at VIR. So nice to get that one back. But thank you to you guys doing the broadcast. Thank you to the admins for putting on this league, and thank you to everyone watching at home. Appreciate you guys tuning in, and hopefully I'll see you next week.
Yeah, we're looking forward to seeing you at Magny-Cours. Good luck next week, and maybe we'll get to talk to you again.
Appreciate it, guys. Thank you.
That was our top Pro-Am driver, Nick Goen. Let's quickly bring in second place in the Pro-Am. I don't think we've had a chat with Patrick Farrell yet this season. Nice showing, Patrick. You got yourself up into second step in the Pro-Am side of things. How'd your race go from your seat?
Yeah, it was pretty exciting in the beginning there. So overall, though, once all the carnage kind of finished, it was a pretty good race with a few guys out there. So yeah, really happy with the result, and expect that good of a pace with the vet near the end.
Yeah, 4 cars, sometimes even 5 cars into turn 1 didn't work out so well on lap 1, but you're able to manage to snake your way through that. We head to Magny-Cours next week, a track that also has a very tricky turn 1, turn 2 section. How you feeling heading there with the machinery?
Yeah, probably about the same. I mean, technical tracks aren't my strong suit. I would say I'm more into the rhythm flowing type of racetracks. But yeah, that hairpin and I don't know what that is, turn 2 or 3. That's a tricky one for sure.
Yeah, it's easy to lose, especially on the cold tires. It's going to be easy to lose the back end there. But before we let you go, Patrick, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, thanks to my wife as always. Also, thanks to Millennium Motorsport. It's been really a good time racing with you guys. And sorry to hear about her, but I think Dave did pretty well today. So thanks to them as well.
Excellent stuff. Best of luck to you next week, Patrick. We hope to see you back up at the sharp end.
All right, thanks.
Take care. So that was our second place Pro-Am driver, Patrick Farrell. Let's bring in our top AM driver, Alex Hillman, to have a chat with Richard Swindells.
Hey, Alex, congratulations. Top 10 overall and number 1 in AM. You must be quite pleased.
Oh,
Can you hear me,
Do we
Alex?
have a copy?
I hear you now.
There we go.
Yeah. Congratulations on a top 10 and overall victory in amateur. You must be quite pleased.
Yes, it was quite a surprise to me. I struggled all week practicing at this track, and last 2 days it kind of came together. Underdriving the car was the secret for me.
Well, I think under driving a car usually works out a lot better than over driving it, and you certainly exhibited that tonight. Lap 1, turn 1, a little bit of incidents. Were you ahead of that, or were you kind of in the midst of all of that going on?
I was in kind of the mid pack for the lap 1 stuff, and then I was behind the big wreck that I think I went from like 18th to 8th, which was just I got around one wreck and did not see the other one and got involved in the second one.
Oh, well, you did a fabulous job of negotiating everything. Victory certainly puts you, and you can't do much better than that. Magny-Cours next week. What do you think about racing there?
It's another track I don't own, so it'll be another week of putting a lot of practice and learning another track.
Well, hopefully it works out the same as this week did. Anybody you'd like to shout out tonight, Alex?
All guys in the broadcast booth, y'all do a great job, and my teammates at SRT, they've helped me a lot the past couple weeks. Hope to keep running with them.
Awesome. Well, congratulations once again. We look forward to next week and hopefully seeing you again in the booth real soon.
Thank you.
So that was our top AM driver, Alex Hillman. Let's quickly bring in a guy that we haven't talked to here yet,
Yes.
Mark Feil. Nice race, Mark. Got yourself home third spot in the AM category, just outside the top 10, just inside the top 15. So nice race from you. How did it go from your seat?
I'll tell you, I'll take it because it's not been good lately. So tonight was a brush of fresh air. I'll say that.
We head to another course next week that's very similar to this, twisty, wide open, with a very tricky turn 1, turn 2 section. Have you had much experience at Magny-Cours?
A few races I've done there, so I'm definitely gonna have to go back and put the time in. So that's what I did for this week. I hadn't put much time in for the season, so tonight it paid off getting a little practice in. So I'm super excited about it.
Nice. One of the few Mustangs on the grid, actually you're the top placed Mustang too as well. So I know the Mustang in seasons past has been very competitive. It seems like they've kind of buffed it back a little bit this season, where it's not quite has that all out raw pace that it had in seasons past. How are you feeling driving the car?
I mean, you can't keep the crowd killer out. You got to give it a chance. I drive one in real life, so I figured I had to do it for the series.
Excellent. Well done, Mark. We hope to see you doing well again next week at Magny-Cours. Before we let you go, anybody you want to give a little shout out to?
Yeah, I want a little shout out to the Asylum Boys, another little crew that I kind of came up through with. So I figured some of them would be smiling tonight. So this is for them.
Excellent stuff. Well, best of luck next week, Mark, and we hope you have some success again.
Thanks, bud.
Take care.
See you guys. Thanks, guys.
Okay, and for the tail end of our interviews, we'll bring in teammates Jim Flees and Matt Stadnick. So, fellas, we saw the two of you kind of nose to tail here at the end. Matt, you were able to get around Jim at the end, but still a third and fourth place finish for Team SRTE Purple. That should keep you up near the sharp end of the team standings. So, how'd your race go for you folks?
Yeah, I thought it went pretty well. I think just tried to run my pace and wasn't quite as quick as Jack and JR. So felt like there was just chaos all around me, and just kind of had a lonely race for the most part in third. And then Matt kind of worked his way through the field and came by, but I think maybe ran out of fuel at the end. I don't know, Matt. Does that sound right to you?
Yeah. I not how I wanted it to happen. I had sort of I had a crap qualifying for whatever reason. I just was like, I was out for a Sunday drive and I just couldn't put together. So trying to catch up to those guys once I got some clean air and sort of save tires. I was hoping, it sort of worked out to where after the pit stops I could push a little bit, but and then Jim, it looked like you just sort of let me by, which was very kind of you. And then, I'm looking down. I'm like, Jesus Christ, I don't have enough fuel. I can't keep going.
Now we saw that, Jim, you were started in the top three, so you were well ahead of the turn one, lap one incident. But Matt, you too as well. You were just ahead of it, but you got caught up. I guess you're actually the beneficiary. The three cars you were battling with got wrapped up a couple laps later, and you were able to avoid all three of them. What were you thinking when that went off?
Just keep on going. No, you hate to see teammates get wrecked up. Unfortunately, we were, had the patient on Sorrentino, so it was just trying to get by him and get out, so that was the hardest part. And then, it looked like, Caleb might have got a little antsy, but that's racing, unfortunately. So
yeah, next week we head to Magny-Cours. I know you guys like to, as SRTE teammates, join up into the lobbies and put some time in. What's the consensus amongst the team? Anybody have much experience with Magny-Cours? I know it's another track kind of like Misano, where it's kind of like an outlier where not a lot of people race it. If they see it on the schedule, they kind of think, I'm just gonna bypass it this week. But how are you two feeling heading in there?
It's been a while since I've driven it. I don't think I've really driven it on the new tire model as well. I think historically it's been kind of more of like a BMW type track. So, we'll see how things go, but I'm sure we'll get a lot of practice in and give it our best shot.
Yeah, I drove it last week for the first time, so it felt okay. There is a couple of tricky corners that are gonna probably choke people up that aren't as experienced, but I think hopefully the Porsche can do okay there. So
excellent stuff, guys. Before we let you go, let's get a couple shout outs from you.
Go ahead, Jim.
Yeah, just say hello to the folks at home. Thanks for watching, and thank you guys for putting on another great broadcast.
Yeah, thank you guys. Thank SRT. Thanks, Jim, for always being a good teammate, and hopefully we're gonna start racking up the points on the team championship here. So that's hopefully what happens.
Excellent stuff, guys. Well, best of luck putting in the practice this week. Matt, go learn the track a little more, since it's going to be fairly new to you, and hopefully we see the two of you battling up at the sharp end of the field again next week.
Take care.
Take care, guys.
That's good. Thanks, Rob.
So that was our third and fourth overall drivers, Matt Stadnick and Jim Flees, and that's going to pretty much be a wrap here, Rich, for week 5, the midway point of the season. We head to Magny-Cours next week. Is it a track that you're a little more familiar with than this one this week, Rich?
Well, I've done more than one race, I think I've done 2 races there, Rob, and they weren't in the rain. So yes, a little more. Not overly familiar. I'm going to try and see if I can get some time before next week to maybe take a car on track and refamiliarize myself.
Excellent stuff. I've been doing it all season, and I found, even the tracks I found that it just kind of gives you that little bit of extra knowledge where you see somebody do something in the race. It's like, oh, you know, I did that in practice, and I can see exactly why he went off track, or he was able to make that move and so forth. But I expect it's going to be another real interesting one next week. As I mentioned, turn 1 and turn 2, very, very tricky, kind of very similar to this one, where if we got 40, 45, 50 cars heading into turn 1 again, Rich, we could see a possible replay of what we saw here tonight. Hopefully not, because we like to see everybody get to the end, but it definitely provides a whole lot of content.
We may need a wide-angle camera for that, Rob,
Yeah.
based on what happened tonight. But
Yeah,
let's
we
hope
have
for
to
a
send
little
a
bit
drone up
more
top.
patience. Yes. Let's hope for a little more patience for our drivers. It's a 45-minute race. You can't win it on lap 1, turn 1, but you certainly can lose it.
Yeah, excellent stuff. So, well, let's sign off for this week. For Richard and myself, we're going to see you next week. We hope to have some more exciting race next week. Thanks for tuning in. And don't forget that hit that like and subscribe button. And if you're interested in joining the league, the Discord link is in the description below. By all means, come on in. They'll be getting ready for season, I guess it'll be 3 in the next couple of weeks, starting to open registration. So join in, and we'll see you all next week. Bye for now.